Rochambeau, the podcast about unique competitions, extraordinary events, and other amazing adventures. I'm Kim.
And I'm Ted. Welcome to this episode.
Happy to have you guys here, and I want to get right into it. Today, I have a competition for you that happens all over the United States.
Oh, yes?
Yep. It happens in Michigan, in Alaska, in North Carolina. But the one that I want to tell you about is, of course, the World Championship.
I thought you were going to go with moose wrestling until I heard North Carolina.
No. The one that I'm focusing on would have been your solid tell, even more than North Carolina. Because this one, the World Championship, takes place in Nevada.
No moose.
No moose in Nevada. So, today's episode, the World Championship of Outhouse Racing.
All right. Wow. Could you pick a crappier subject?
Probably not. That was very good.
Now, I know a thing or two about outhouses.
Do tell.
Yeah, I know often there's a sitter and a stander.
What?
Like there's one if you're a sitter.
Oh, two different outhouses.
And one you go if you're a stander.
Two different people. No. I thought every time you went in, you'd have to have like a spotter.
That'd be weird. Tell me about outhouse races.
So the ones that happen in northern places like Alaska and Michigan, the outhouses are going down a hill on skis.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the one that we're going to talk to the organizer of is the World Championship. It happens in Virginia City, Nevada, and it's coming up on its 30th anniversary.
And they don't have a lot of snow in Nevada.
No snow. No skis, and it is slightly uphill.
This sounds wrong.
You will hear why.
Okay.
Okay, so let's hear from Katie DeMuth about the Virginia City, Nevada World Championship of Outhouse Races.
Let's go. That's what you say when you go to the outhouse.
My name's Katie DeMuth, and I am the Tourism and Marketing Manager for Virginia City Tourism Commission.
When you took the job, did you know that the outhouse race would be part of what you'd be handling?
Oh, yes. Actually, I did work for the event company that handles the events.
So, okay, yeah, you knew what you were getting into, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead and tell me a little bit about the history.
Legend has it that when they outlawed outdoor plumbing, the residents weren't too happy to be told how to take care of their business. And so they kind of took to the streets in a protest of sorts, marching with their outhouses down our main drag. And so, instead of signs and an angry mob of sorts, they just kind of silently protested with their outhouses.
What year are we talking about? Approximately.
Oh, man. See, I was told it was like in the 80s. That didn't even seem quite plausible, but I was told that it was in the early 1980s that law actually got put on the books.
No, I expected 1880s at best.
No, that's what I've been told. Now, granted, you never know, because, old mining towns kind of like their tall tales. So, it could have been like 1889, and people are like, that's just not as cool. But I was told 1980s.
All right, fair enough. Well, what number race is this for you?
This is my 5th.
And is there anything you've learned along the way?
To wear boots? No, I'm just kidding. To stay out of their way because they're heavy as heck. The rules for the outhouses, they have to be I think it's like 300 pounds or 200 pounds. So they're heavy suckers. And for those people to stop them, the people pushing them have to, really have to put their might into it, if that makes sense. So you don't want to be at the finish line.
Is it a downhill race or is it a flat terrain?
It's actually a very small uphill. I mean, almost unnoticeable, but the reason they do it where they do it, the particular part of the street, is so it doesn't even have a slight decline. They want to make sure it's a little bit harder when the stop, I guess, is the reason they do it where they do it. So if it were downhill, you might lose an outhouse or two.
Okay, I get that. Well, do people tend to dress in costumes or are there themes?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, always. All the outhouses seem to have their own little theme going on, and there have been some great ones. We've had, last year there was a Storm Pooper, Star Wars themed. I know. You can't make this up, I promise. And so the people there was a Darth Vader with it and a stormtrooper. And I think the girl that was driving it was dressed as Leia with the white and the buns. And then, we've had the Up House from the Disney movie Up with the balloons, and then the driver, I think, was the bird. I mean, people really get into it. We've had Alice in Wonderland. We've had one that was a train because we have the Virginia and Truckee Railroad here, so they made it look like a steam engine. So, I mean, we range from everything from a Coors Light can to the Storm Pooper one I just mentioned.
That's absolutely wonderful. Well, who won last year?
Hot Rod won.
What is a pot rod?
It looks like a hot rod. So it looks like it has flames like a hot rod car would. So they call themselves the pot rod.
Okay, so I have a friend who lives in Michigan, and her hometown also has an outhouse race. Obviously, it's not the World Championship like yours, but she's told me a couple of the rules revolving around their race, and one of them is that someone actually has to be sitting on the toilet.
Yes, and it has to be, quote, end quote, working. A functioning outhouse. Not used, but functioning.
I mean, how would they know?
Really, we just mean it has to have a hole. It has to have a seat with a hole. And toilet paper. We require it to have toilet paper inside, too. That's one of the rules.
Okay, I get that. Well, if it is functioning, then you are going to need toilet paper. Moving on. Tell me about the community. How involved does the community get in this event?
Oh, actually, I think it's one of the community's favorite events. So we get tons of businesses who participate either by sponsoring or putting in their outhouses or just being vendors on the street. We actually have a few locals who are in it year after year, probably about, off the top of my head, I can think of 6 teams that are all locals. And out of 20, I think we tap out at 22. So, we're pushing a third of them almost are locals, which is just fantastic.
How far away have people come in order to participate in the past?
The furthest one I know is out of a town in California that's, I think they're a 4-hour drive away, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in Nevada, when we're not close to much.
Yeah, I guess that's not that far, but when you are towing an outhouse, I'm thinking that trip's going to seem a little bit longer.
Totally true.
Do you guys have a prize involved for the winners?
There is a few different things. We do trophies, and they get kind of bragging rights of such. I believe this year they might be doing a cash prize, but that would be, they haven't released that yet, so I don't want to say it and then be told I'm wrong.
That's all good. We here at Rochambeau are definitely more interested in trophies than we are in cash anyway. So can you describe a trophy for us?
Yeah, so which I love the trophies for some reason. They're giant flasks. They hold like multiple bottles of liquor. They're huge flasks. And then the team name gets put on them. Yeah, they're kind of fun.
That's great. And they get to keep the trophy? They don't have to return it the next year?
Nope, they get to keep them all theirs. They can put them on their mantle.
Right on. Well, thank you very much, Katie.
Thank you.
That sounds amazing.
Not a flask, though.
No, it's not a flask. If you can't slip it in your pants, it's not a flask.
No.
As always, I have questions.
What?
Well, first, do you think the Storm Poopers crew had an Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Oh, Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard there was a big ruckus because at one of these, there was a guy who was standing on top of his outhouse.
Hmm?
He was high on pot.
You sound like someone's mom. Are you high on the pot?
We don't have to answer that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea where Virginia City, Nevada is?
I guess the closest landmarks would be Reno and Lake Tahoe.
That is in the middle of nowhere. That's probably old Western times.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time of year does this happen, Kim?
This is coming up soon. It's early October in Nevada. And in Michigan, North Carolina, and Alaska, all of those races happen in February.
All right.
Yeah.
Wintertime.
That's right.
Yeah. So you can plan your year around which outhouse race to go to.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can tow it like the people from California did. Awesome. Thanks, Ken. That was a good story.
And thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Cadillac Jones. They provide the music that we all enjoy. There's new things coming from some of those members. If you have anything we need to hear about, let us know at rochambopodcast@gmail.com.
Till next time, people.
Goodbye.